The third point I want to speak about, I called thoughts become substance. If you read in Proverbs 4:20-23, the following words: "My son, attend to my words, incline thine ear unto my sayings. Let them not depart from thine eyes, keep them in the midst of thine heart. For they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." We see here the importance of God's words and his thoughts. In John 1 verse 1, verse 3, we also see that he says, without him, in German we say without it, without the Logos, speaking about the Logos, speaking about the Word of God, speaking about the thoughts of God. You know, in Greek there's a huge difference. There are actually two kinds of expressions for word. In English you only see the term word, as here in John 1 verse 1-3 and so on. But in Greek there are actually two words for the term word. One is logos and one is rhema. Rhema is a spoken word of God, so when God speaks to you, when God gives you a promise, a personal word out of the Bible becomes quickened to you by the Spirit, that is a rhema. God encounters you personally with his rhema. For example, that word rhema is written in Matthew 4:4. "Man shall not live from bread alone, but from every rhema," from every word of God that proceeds out of his mouth. So rhema is a personally encountering word, the individual given word to you in your circumstances. When you have some problems, you come to God and God gives you a word that really speaks of this problem and gives you hope and gives you a perspective. That is rhema, you know, the spoken word of God. But logos is a written word of God. And logos has about 50 different meanings in the Greek language. When you see the word logos in the Greek New Testament, it has 50 different meanings. And among them are very interesting meanings. For example, calculation is also logos. Or conversation is also logos, you know. And, you know, thoughts will become substance. God's thoughts. Without his thoughts, nothing has ever been made that has been made. Nothing. You know? So thoughts become substance. That is a principle that is working all over the whole creation, you know. And for example, if you look at the DNA, this desoxyribonucleic acid in every human nucleus in the cells, there is a cell body and the nucleus inside the body. And in this nucleus, there is a DNA that is some kind of a blueprint for the building of these cells, you know. So this DNA, if you look so deep into this matter, it is some kind of a plan how to build the cells, you know. And if you see in a deeper manner into the body or into creation in general, you see everywhere is intelligence. Everywhere are God's thoughts. And even nowadays they say, the scientists say, you know, they have to change their picture of the atoms. And nowadays they say the tiniest part of the atoms is actually consisting out of sound waves. Think about that. You know, God spoke and it came into existence. I think these sound waves is still his voice that spake everything into existence. So thoughts is the beginning of everything that ever has been made. You know, even in your life, before you want to accomplish something, you always have to think about it. You know, don't just start doing things out of the blue, out of emotions or so, but think first, you know. And so that means we should be very observant and vigilant in perceiving our thinking. Who's inspiring our thinking? What kind of means are inspiring our thinking? Is our thought life mainly inspired by the news, by the media? Or is it more inspired by the Word of God, by the communication, by our individual and intimate relationship with God? Are we inspired with the things God tells us, or with the things the media tells us, you know? You know, as Romans, I think chapter 4 or 3, it says, all men are liars. Think about that, you know? All humans are liars. Don't let liars inspire your thinking. So we should be very vigilant and observant concerning our thought life. Because what we think once we will speak, and what we speak once we will do or we will have. You know, God says exactly this in his word in Numbers 14:28. He says, say unto them, as truly as I live, says I am, as ye have spoken in mine ears, so will I do to you. So, you know, considering your thoughts will once become words. If you continue thinking in a certain direction, there will come a time that you speak in this direction. And when you speak it, it will come to pass.